Awesome. Well, I hope everyone's having a wonderful beginning to your 2022. I love the new year because it's new beginnings, it's new chapters in your life, and it's getting you to that next echelon, whatever that is in your life, whether it be health, wealth, happiness. Definitely, we want all of these measured, and hopefully that you enjoyed the clubhouse today if you were able to jump on there. Brian had some good nuggets along with 200 other guests, and it should be pretty exciting. But today I wanted to talk about $1 million resolutions and how you can really blow this out for 2022. Is it possible to let in some guests, Matt? You there, Matt?
Yes, bringing in some guests now.
Okay, great. That way we can ask and do this live, which is always fun, hearing people's resolutions.
All right, we got Josh Ortiz. Josh, how you doing?
Good, my man. How are y'all?
Good.
Hey, Josh, how you doing?
Hey, Michael. Nice to hear you, my man. So we're talking about our New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, we're going to talk about resolutions and how you can actually keep them, and a lot of skills to hold yourself accountable. So if you could start us off, what are your top 2 or 3 resolutions for 2022?
Yeah, so definitely my number one right now would be to focus on myself a lot more. I know I started my real estate journey last year, got my license and been full force on it, but I've realized and it can be a good or bad thing. I put too much focus and attention on other people and my clients and all that. And at the end of the day, I realized right before I go to sleep, I didn't really do anything for me. I didn't really, whenever I'm done showing houses, I just go get junk food. I didn't work out that much. I didn't read that much. I was just on the computer and showings. When I'm done, just go do whatever. So definitely, I want to start doing a lot more things. Like I've already started. I'm working out a lot more, reading a lot more, really listening to myself a lot more, my body and what it tells me. So definitely that. And another thing would be to implement some more things into my business because I started last year, my first year, and I was just getting the hang of everything, getting the ropes. So I want to really definitely up things and try more things and scale up a bit more. And that would be like my closing volume, my sales, definitely help a lot more people than I did last year.
Okay, so you had some amazing goals, and you really, I think, have a lot of goals that a lot of people have in common. But one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to pinpoint some of the things that you can actually do today to make sure that you realize those goals and hone them in. Does that sound good?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So do you have a pen and paper or some ways to take notes in front of you?
Oh yes, sir. Got him right here.
Michael,
Okay,
we also
great.
have Lisa Reyes.
Hey, Lisa, how are you?
I'm really well. Happy New Year. How's everybody?
Happy New Year to you as well. What are your top 2 or 3 New Year's resolutions before I go into some of this list to help you guys out?
Well, I think that my number one thing I learned in one of the in the Listing Boss book that I have continually read of Haas Pratt's is to use an alter ego when mental challenges come in, as far as, like, oh, I don't, I'm not up to it. Oh, I don't feel well. Oh, the kids get out early today because we take care of our grandkids, and blah 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 blah, and all that other cheap shit. um I'm going to use the alter ego. He suggests this, and I never knew that Beyonce, before she goes on stage, creates this alter ego so that she doesn't have a fear of how big the crowd is. So that was really inspiring to me, and it's really struck a chord because, you know what, if she can do it, I damn sure can. And the other thing too is the other very very main thing, and in the last two clubhouses, and also with Lisa Copeland, just on another um, goal setting thing, to really start with the journaling and writing. I've always been a huge proponent of writing thoughts down and writing things, and then I just kind of, it just kind of dropped off my radar for whatever reason. Who cares? But that is another thing too that I'm totally implementing is visualizing it, speaking it in my own, self talk, and putting it on paper and confirming it on paper is going to be where I'm going. And with all the goal setting that I've done as far as just numbers go, I know that I'll reach it. I know that I will. This is now that I'm at EXP and 2021's behind me. Yep, here we go.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. So we'll start off with 5 things that you can do and make sure all your resolutions fit in this category or you have to eradicate them. I've done a lot of study on resolution implementation, and a lot of resolutions unfortunately fall by the wayside in like 27 days. And usually you want to focus on no more than 3 for the year. So if you have 1, 2, or 3 that are really important to you, you have to make sure that they fit in these 5 parameters. So the first is you have to be ultra specific. One of the things that I listen to in Clubhouse when people are talking about their affirmations and what they're going to do, a lot of people are way too, bland. You got to be more granular. Like, how much more are you going to make this year? Another $1,550? Or how many more people are you going to help? 23? And how are you going to do that, right? So specifics matter. The second thing you want to write down too on your resolution list is it measurable, right? How can I measure this on a daily basis to know I'm walking towards my goal or running towards my goal, or I'm letting it go by the wayside, right? The third thing is it attainable? Am I able to attain these goals within this year time frame, or do I need to make smaller goals within this year to make sure that I can reach that echelon? The fourth thing is it relevant? Is this truly going to help my life, right? And I think we touched upon this in Clubhouse in a lot of ways. Health, wealth, happiness, they're all interlinked, right? So you should have, usually in your 3 resolutions, you should have something that's health related, something that makes sure that your body is working at its premium optimum level. Make sure your nutrition is good. Make sure that you're implementing daily workout habits as benign and basic as they possibly can be, and then making sure that your money game is intact, especially in your business life too. And then 5 is it timely? Is it something that I can do every single day and implement this into my daily routine, not just today, tomorrow, in the next 15 or 20 days, but can I do this the next year and beyond? So the question I have for you, Josh and Lisa, what are some of the habits that you guys are implementing every single day, starting on the first or even starting today, that you think will help propel you this coming year? Josh, you want to start us off?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll focus on my first one, which is be my mental health
Mm-hmm.
and physical health and body. I've made it a routine, and I made a routine to get up early and do because I came from not really doing much at all, so I'm kind of starting myself off slow. I would do anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour of workout and then get at least a mile a day in. It can be running, walking, jogging, whatever it is. And then on top of that, I do at least 30 minutes of reading every day just to get my mind flowing, get it going. And then definitely I focus on what I'm reading on as well. So a lot of like self help books, business books, things like that.
Now, how are you making yourself accountable on a daily basis to make sure that you're checking all of these items?
Um, I know in Closers Club, I believe it was Brian. He was saying he would post himself daily doing that. I feel like I should start doing that, but at the moment, I don't really think I have anything. I know it just in my head, I would kind of just tell myself like, I got to get up and just do it. Because if I don't, I'll just be like last year where I didn't do anything.
Well, and the thing is, and Lisa, you guys listening in and live as well, that the biggest thing I can take away is you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to thousands of people. And so the reason that documentation is really important, the easiest way to do it, this will grow your marketing following, this will grow your Instagram, this will grow your Facebook, this will grow your LinkedIn, is on your Instagram stories, if it's not already attached to your Facebook stories, make sure that you're posting a story a day for each step of these resolutions that you're trying to complete. Does that make sense, Josh? So, like for me, I'm trying to get in better shape. I'm trying to get more svelte. But what I'm doing to make sure I'm holding myself accountable for that is I'm posting a 5-second video or a 5-second photo every single day documenting what I'm doing that day. And fitness is one of the things that's huge, but it drops off after day 27. And I could recommend this to anyone listening in. Doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your weight, doesn't matter your physicality. Walk at least a mile a day. A mile walk will take you probably about 15 to 20 minutes. If you can do longer, great. Low impact, and it keeps the blood moving, right? That's the first step.
Hey, we just got Ashley joining too. I just wanted to
Ashley, what's up?
Hey guys.
So what are some of your 2022 New Year's resolutions? We were going through that right now. You have 2 or 3 of them?
I do. I think one of the biggest ones is focusing on my health. I had a really bad health scare January 1st, way to start off the new year. And it put a lot of things into perspective, sitting in a hospital bed. So health is number one, because I've realized the past 4 days without my health, I'm nothing. I can't work. I can't take care of my kids. Um, and then really focusing on my career. I think that I have not been hyper focused, so I want to make sure that every single thing I do with intention, and it's going to push me forward to the next phase. And if it's not worth it, I need to be able to either delegate it or forget about it. And then third goal is just family and relationships. I think during 2020 and 2021, I personally have failed at staying connected through business, through family and personal relationships, and I want to refocus on that. And fourth goal is social media. My media got wiped out by a hacker, and it sounds really lame, you guys, but it like made me super depressed because I worked 10 years to build up my Instagram to where it was. So rebuilding that and showcasing my vulnerability again.
No, it's all very good. And just to summarize what you missed in the beginning, there's 5 steps to making sure that all of these things can be attained, Ashley. The first is making them specific, which I think you did. The second is making them measurable. The third is,
Right.
are they attainable? The fourth is, are they relevant? And the fifth is, are they timely? And I've done a lot of studies on New Year's resolutions and why after 27 days, 90% of them fail with most people. And it's because they're not doing the daily implementation. And what we talked about with Josh and Lisa, Ashley, which this will help build up your fourth, but let's limit it to 3 resolutions as opposed to 4. And make sure one is in the health sector, which you have. Make sure one is in your money/business sector. And then the last thing is make sure one is in your social sector, which ties in exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yep.
But the key to the game is what we were talking about before you jumped on is what are some of the things you can do daily to hold yourself accountable? Because we can lie to ourselves, but we can't lie to thousands of people watching us on social media or beyond, right? And so
Right.
what can you do? And this, revolves around all you guys. What can you do on a daily basis that are daily deposits towards implementing some of your goals? Do you have any ideas for the group, Ashley?
Well, I definitely think that, being back on social media and showcasing the vulnerability and setting your goals and allowing everyone out there to see them and keep you accountable, that's going to be huge for me. I did that before and it worked fabulously. I just need to do it again.
Well, and the thing that I started doing, which I'll tell you works wonders, as I was telling these guys before you jumped on, is post on your stories daily. So let's say you have 3
Right.
main goals, right? And if you have 3 main goals, you should have a minimum of 3 stories a day on Instagram and Facebook. And those
Okay.
stories should be a photo and or a video of you accomplishing those goals. So the 2 things that I'm working on diligently is number 1, working out at least 10 minutes to 15 minutes a day. And number 2, walking at least a mile to 5 miles a day, right? So that's in the same category of health. And so what I do is I post a photo or a 5 to 10-second video of that every single day. The second thing is your money game, right? So what's your business game? What are you doing daily to make deposits into paying off your house, growing your savings, growing your business model, growing your income, all of those things, right? Post about it. Make yourself accountable. And then the
Mm-hmm.
third, the social dynamic, which rings well, I think, with Josh and Lisa, is the dynamic of reaching out to people. And how do you hold yourself accountable for that? You can't hold yourself accountable for people reaching out to you and conducting business, but you can hold yourself accountable for the number of text messages, phone calls, and DMs that you're sending out every single day. And so for my personal goal is I send out a minimum of 5 to 10 DMs and or text messages or phone calls every single day. And I have a checklist for that. So if you
Okay.
implement those three things, everyone, I think that'll get you on your path towards success. Josh, you want to add anything?
No, yeah, that's pretty spot on in my opinion. I definitely love. I never thought about the five keys that you mentioned, the specific, measurable, relevant, obtainable, timeless, like all of that. I never really took that into consideration whenever I would delegate my goals and think about them. It was kind of just what I thought, but definitely that's really good and super good to think about.
Well, what's funny is what you talked about rings home because you brought on the word think, right? Think about it. All these things you shouldn't think about. They just should become part of your daily routine. And what I would really recommend is like hash out the first hour of your morning when you wake up and make the first hour of your morning exactly the same every single day. I started doing that and I'm telling you, it really changes the trajectory of your life because you don't think about it, right? I get up, make myself a cup of coffee, go on a mile or 4 mile walk, get in the gym 5 to 10 or 15 minutes a day. And then I do my reach outs to my 5 to 10 people. And then I'm ready to start my day. And it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock. You know what I mean? And you're growing your Instagram account, Ashley, because you're posting about all this stuff in the morning and it's making you accountable doing this stuff. Right. And so the dynamics almost
Mhm.
become you stack your habits, right? So these rituals in the morning you don't think about, they're habits that are growing into your daily rituals that are depositing daily to your success, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the nine dynamics that we'll get in a little bit in more in depth here right now is there's 9 things that you can do that'll make these resolutions even more poignant in the year to come. So number one is a lot of people fail because they make grandiose claims that are not measurable, right? So number one is you have to make very small resolutions that you can do every single day. So Josh, if I were to ask you, what is the small resolution that you can implement in 5 to 10 minutes every single day for the next year? What could that be?
Picking up a book and reading it, 10-minute read, a couple pages read.
And you can do that every single day and take a picture of it or do a quick video of a synopsis
Hmm.
of what you read and post that on your social media, right?
Exactly.
What about you, Lisa?
I think the journaling. I think just being able to write down my goals. I'm pretty good with reading. I've always loved to read. I'm a big reader, but I think the journaling, getting back into that, and taking and to your point, Michael, that first part of the day, starting the first part of the day with writing down the goals and keeping your mindset on what you've thought of, and then put it on paper. For me, I think that's the most attainable and a small one of my, a small resolution that'll be easy to do.
Now, how are you keeping yourself accountable, Lisa? Are you posting a story on your social
I
media?
Yeah, I'll start posting. I'll start posting them. I actually need to get out of the house and get to the store and get a new journal for this. So yeah, I will start by doing a quick little video of me at Barnes and Noble or somewhere getting a moleskin and starting out that way. Yes.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. If you want us to be your accountability coaches, I'm happy. I'll make you a promise right now. If you guys post anything in your stories that relates to what we talked about today and tag me in it, I'll reshare it and push more people to your account. Because I think it's important to hold each other accountable. Because if we don't, we're not going to accomplish what we're trying to achieve. Ashley, is there something that you can do for 5 to 10 minutes to implement?
Sorry, I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
Are you?
I'm gonna try to put my AirPods in so I can hear you
Sure.
better. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me better?
No, not at all.
No.
You said I didn't hear the question because it's so faint.
The question is, in 5 to 10 minutes every single day, what can you do specifically to create the goals that you talked about that you can do on a daily basis in the morning? What are some of the habits that you can create?
Oh gosh, that's my biggest weakness. I think that's where I need help with is because I'm not a habitual person. I don't have habits. Every morning is different. So I am open for advice.
Well, what I was telling the other people on the call and on live is the dynamics are you almost have to have the first hour of your mornings exactly the same if you can do it, or the first 30 minutes at a minimum. And what I was saying, which I think can help you a lot, is take that first 30 minutes and accomplish those 2 to 3 goals that you have of your resolutions and document them and tag us so we can hold you accountable for them, and I'll reshare them or vice versa, and make sure to applaud you in your efforts. Because if you don't, and you write it down and no one knows what your resolution is, how are you holding yourself accountable to make sure you can attain them? Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I love that.
So that's number one. So make small resolutions that you can implement into habit every single morning, right? The second thing is what we already talked about is get specific with your goals. Like what specifically do you want to do, Josh, in let's say your money sector? What can you do specifically every single morning to get your money game right?
Yeah, so this would come into play with my real estate business. So I I haven't been the one to really go out and prospect. I really just kind of been really focusing on the referrals through EXP. So one thing is I'm making the cold calls. I'm doing a lot of social media work. Every day I make it consistent to post on there, either a poster on my story. So definitely finding ways to prospect and find clients to opposed to not doing anything and just kind of letting them fall in my lap.
Yep. Proactive is key, right? Lisa, what
Yeah.
about you? What are some of your specific goals that you're going to be doing as far as getting your money game right in 2022?
Yeah,
Um,
so sorry, go on. Were you asking
I
me? I'm sorry.
No, it was Lisa. I was talking to
Oh,
Lisa,
I'm
but
sorry.
that's all right.
I have a schedule for my day. Of the calls that we have, for example, and then after that, all of the money making things like going after the expireds and the FISBOs, and blocking out bits of time for each activity and saying like, and even Lisa Copeland was teaching us this. Like every day, she has 2 hours that she devotes specifically to Facebook and Instagram, so that
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't miss a beat with that. Um, and then also from everybody, I think I've learned, the prospecting should be specific prospecting. I'm designating time for that, and also getting out and going to local businesses. And I'm gonna, and as far as the social media goes, and is it okay to tag you on those two, Michael? Even though we're kind of in different sides of Phoenix here.
Absolutely.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I think
absolutely. I
that's
mean, you guys tag me on everything, and believe me, if it's something for self improvement, I'll be happy to reshare it and point people to your pages.
That's so cool. Thank you. Because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a lot of local businesses and some of the ones that don't get a lot of accolades in our area here. I live in Eastmark, which is like a new area, but they just opened up the Bell Park, the Legends, the sports thing, and
Hmm.
places like that that are going to, really bring us, into the forefront of what's happening here in the Phoenix metro area. And so I'm going to do that, and everything will be blocked in bits of time so that I can remain consistent. And to your point, Michael, once get into the habit of it, it'll be just like, like when you were a kid in school. I mean, I it was like get to third period. It's not
Yeah,
lunchtime every period. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
you're right. The blocking is really important, and making sure your habits of the first 30 minutes to an hour every single day is the same. Ashley, what are some of the things that you're doing every single day to get your money game right as far as your business in 2022?
Well, I'm on board with what you say as far as sending messages daily. I make sure I have a habit every Wednesday, I send out a group text or mass text message to prospects, clients. But every single day, I try to reach out anywhere from 5 to 10 people, whether it's via text, just asking them how they're doing, not necessarily business related or asking them about business, but in our business, it's about relationships. So trying to consistently continue those relationships. But like I said, I had been failing, but it is my goal to continue to do that and be more consistent with it. Um,
And
I did start the
here's the
gym thing. That didn't work out very well.
here's the question though. Like specifically, you guys on the call and in live, like and Matt, maybe you could help me. Like, what are you guys doing specifically every single day for your money game? Whether that be paying down debt, whether that be contributing to your retirement, whether that be, you know, putting or moving $5 a day into your savings. Do you guys have any specific goals for 2022 in that?
Oh yeah, I do.
What are they?
I actually did this last night. I sat down and I compartmentalized. So I have my financials that are my set financials and my auxiliary financials. Went through, figure out where I could take things away from, like kids' Xboxes, like crap that I've been paying for years that I forgot about. um, Going through all my subscriptions, reached out to my mortgage lender about refinancing my house with the rates where they are. So I'll be doing that. I pay extra every single month towards my mortgage to get it paid down faster, so more towards the principal. I pay more towards my son's vehicle and my vehicle. And then each one of the kids has a savings account that I drop money into. It's not a daily thing, it's a monthly
So
thing. But yeah,
Ashley, quick question. So
sure.
how much, let's be transparent so we can hold everyone accountable. How much extra do you put in every month to pay down your mortgage?
So right now, I put in, to be completely transparent, $36.51 to make it an exact
Okay.
2,300. Now, with
Okay.
that being said, the reason I'm refinancing is I'm going to drop down my mortgage payment to about 2,000, but I'm still going to pay the 2,300 because I'm used to it.
So here's the thing, and I'll tell you, I'm telling you guys, these daily habitual things, take everything that you do every month and implement them into a daily routine. And the reason it makes a difference is because you're going to start liking seeing some of the progression in your life. So let's say you take $36 a month, right, and start paying down your debt. What I would almost challenge you to do, Ashley, is as opposed to doing that every single month, do you think you could put $2 a day towards your principal on your mortgage paydown?
Oh, of course, yeah.
So, and the reason I challenge you to do that is because if you do that as opposed to doing it every month, it becomes part of your habitual everyday routine. I mean, here's an
Mhm.
example. You know, I own two houses free and clear, paying off my third. And the dynamic of this is just one reference point. But I've paid off probably $500,000 in loans in the last 3 years because I made it a daily habit, right? As opposed to a
Mhm.
monthly routine of just rounding up. So, you know, in these resolutions, guys, money is obviously a very important one, along with our health and along with our business and our family. But make everything that you do every single month, once a month, and put it into your daily routine because you're going to get addicted to doing it. And that addiction is going to
Mhm.
snowball into unbelievable success in your life in all those areas. You know what I mean? So that would be my suggestion.
I am addicted to checking my bank account
Josh,
daily.
yeah, good. But be addicted to adding to it and or paying off debt daily too. Because if you
Yeah,
can do that and make it a daily routine, I'm telling you, you'll save hundreds of thousands of dollars in mortgage interest over the course of the loan.
right. Yeah.
So, you know, that's something I would definitely. So we have writing down our goals, obviously, as number three. The only problem with writing down your goals is you're only holding yourself accountable for writing them down. You know, video, photos, those are visual representations of the same thing as writing them down. And maybe they're quicker in our daily schedule, right? But I would almost enlist, and this will help you, Ashley, Lisa, Josh, this will help all of you guys enlist the help of Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, right? Because by doing all of these things and making them part of our daily routine, what are you doing in the interim? You're growing your social media presence, you're growing your business, you're growing what people are seeing in your life, right? And so that's the dynamic, right? And that's how you grow your social media, Ashley. That's how you make yourself more accountable, Lisa. That's how you grow your business, Josh, is by doing these daily things over and over and over again. Like, for example, if you watch my Instagram face story every single day, you'll see 250 plus DMs, people asking me, what the hell is this? Why do you keep posting it, right?
Shoot, maybe we lost Michael for a second. Let's just pause for a moment while we get him back.
Quick question: are we supposed to be seeing anybody? I just see myself on this program.
What it is me paying down my mortgage and me holding myself accountable, and as well as these questions come on, right? People are asking me, oh, can I do that myself? And I encourage them to do it themselves and help change the trajectory of your life, right? The power of community is holding each other accountable. That's why all this is really, really powerful. Does that make sense?
Total sense, yes.
And then piggybacking off this, which is step 5, is you have to make your resolutions public. Tell them to everyone. Tell them to your family. Tell them to your dog. Tell them to your kids, Ashley. Tell them to everyone. Because when you do that, people are going to start saying, okay, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they do this. We'll see if they accomplish this goal. But your daily deposits will force you to be like, hey, I promised so-and-so, I promised Lisa, I promised Josh, I promised Ashley, I promised Matt, I promised Michael, I'm going to do this. I'm going to look like a moron if I don't follow through. Let's go, right? That's why making these statements public to a lot of people is very, very good for your accountability. Don't do this stuff in private, guys. You'll wane for 27 days. Believe me, I've tried. Tell everyone, anyone you run into, like, this is what I'm going to accomplish, and here are the daily steps I'm going to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Matt, are you on there, my friend?
I'm here.
Yeah, what are some of your resolutions? Because obviously, I know you got a lot of stuff you want to accomplish in 2022.
Well, it's a pretty big question. You're absolutely right. For me, still working on it myself, but we have a lot of big goals with Culhane companies and the Culhane groups that are on the top of my focus.
But if you had to, bring in 1, 2, or 3, what do you think your resolutions are for yourself as far as health, wealth, and growing that business? Matt Black Productions.
Yeah, I'd say right now relationship is on top of my priorities. Getting into another relationship, as well. Growing Matt Black Productions, and just getting my finances in order. Looking to grow like everyone else.
Are you holding yourself accountable daily for those things?
I doing my best, but apologies. It's hard for me to answer questions too while I'm running the stream as well. So.
Okay, I'll take you off the hot seat.
Yeah, Josh, put me in a awkward position.
Josh, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So we talked about your money game. What are you doing in your health game as far as your resolutions for 2022?
Yeah, so every day I would make it a point and habit to, I have some weights in my room. I would just lift weights for, I'll have about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. And then after that, either if I don't do it in that morning, same time, like after I'm done with the weights, sometime in the afternoon, I would go out for at least a mile, jog, run, whatever it is.
Good. Those are good things, and they're easily attainable. I mean, I think you could do that every single day, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially because it's so I can just go outside. There's a track right out in my neighborhood. Like I can just walk outside. There's the track. My weights are in my room. There's nothing stopping me. So that's why if I don't do it, it's like what the heck? It's right there looking at me. So
you're going to take a photo or a video every single day and post it, right?
I should, and I will be.
You need to, and tag us so we know you're doing it, because I'm going to check up on
Definitely.
you whether you like it or not.
Definitely.
Lisa, what are you doing for your health, my friend?
I drink a quart of vodka every day. No, just kidding.
Good.
Actually, my birthday was in December, and my sponsor for here at EXP, was so very gracious and kind, and I have a year's membership to Pure Barre, which is it's like a cross between Pilates, yoga, and like ballet. I don't know if you guys know, like there's like five positions, and there's just different things that you do to maintain your, being limber and like that. But they're like intense, intense. And I am no spring chicken. I am 61 years old. And I'll tell you what, this stuff will eat your lunch, and I love it. I started out the 1st of December with my first classes by taking pictures of the sunrise, because I get up at 4:30, I get there by 5:30. Well, actually, class begins at 5:30, and by the time I get out, the sun is rising, and on the east, it's just breathtaking. So I had been doing that, so now I'll get back in the habit of taking a picture of the skyline and or me at the studio, and I'll tag you guys in on
Take a picture of you. I want to see you in good physical health and going well at 61.
it. Okay, thank you. I will.
No, it's
Thank you.
important. I mean, my mom's 68, and every day we're walking together and we're working out together. I take my hat off to her because the key to the game is consistency. And the only way we're going to all be consistent is doing this every single day together. Ashley, what are some of the things that you're doing to help you in the health department? Ashley, you there? Is she on, Matt?
She is. She's just muted.
Oh, okay. We'll give her a minute. We'll wait till she gets back on, and then we'll talk about health with her. The last thing is how much time are we about minutes?
I'm sorry, what?
How are we doing on time? Do we have about 30 minutes left?
You can take as much time as you want. We're about 40 minutes
Okay.
in right now.
Okay, great. Yeah, let me know when Ashley unmutes. But we'll go into sociability. Josh, what are you doing? What are you going to do every single day to hold yourself accountable to being more sociable and going out and meeting more people?
Man, I actually don't have anything in place for that. I always tell myself that I need to do that not only for my business, but for myself, because I have slight social anxiety, and that's not a good thing to have in the real estate business, but I do, and I don't know what to do to help myself with that. I know I spoke about it on my Instagram recently. If we're ever in like a group setting like this, I always try to be the first person to talk, or get my name out there and not just be in the back just sitting alone in the corner. But I definitely don't have anything set in stone as like a daily thing I should be doing.
Where are you living now, Josh? Remind me.
I'm in Cypress, Texas, near Houston.
In Texas. Have you ever? Are you good at public speaking? Does that excite you, or is that a fear of yours?
It excites me, but it's weird. My brain says yes, go do that. That's so fun, but my body, it shrivels up and shakes and stutters, and it's weird. But definitely, I would be something I'd want to get into.
Well, and here's another thing you might think about too is, you look at Warren Buffett. I've read a lot of books on him, and one of the things he always said that changed the trajectory of his life was Toastmasters, and I know they have those all over the United States. But the dynamic of being able to get in front of a group of strangers and tell your story without being hidden by technology or a screen, but actually do it in public is a huge barometer for your success. And maybe that could be one of the resolutions that you want to implement today, because if you do that, not only is your social life going to explode, but your monetary and I think your mental health will help with that as well.
And Michael, do you mind if I interject a thought?
Yeah, please do. Please do.
The other thing too, um, have you read Listing Boss? The
I
Haas.
have. Yeah, Haas is a partner of mine, so I read all his content. He's great.
No, I meant the other gentleman. I'm sorry, his name just escaped.
No, I have not, but
Oh,
I've
sorry.
heard
Yeah,
so many
Josh. Yeah.
great things.
Josh. Okay,
Mhm.
Josh. You know what? Of all of the books, it's so practical. number one, and Michael can attest to this too. But the thing I had even spoken of earlier, that whole alter ego thing, if you, um, if I could get your email address, I have an excerpt that I've kept from the book about how this thing with, I mean, who would ever think that Beyonce would ever have any like hesitancy to get out in public? I mean, she's been performing since she was a child, but she does. And she has to go into an alter ego to convince herself to get out on stage, even at her age. And she's a mommy and a wife and blah, 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 and all this other stuff in life. And I strongly suggest to consider that and maybe give it a try. Like even like if you just like walk into a restaurant to say hello to the maitre d or whomever, the bartender or whomever you first just to you know I don't know, feel it out, see if it'll work for you. I it's in my for me in where I'm at. It was brilliant because I love talking. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to a fence post. My husband says that I'm a fence poster from way back, and but sometimes you still get in I still feel that way, and just doing that alter ego has been just phenomenal for me.
I would love to connect with Josh. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yes.
just fine.
Oh, I've had the hardest time. I'd love to connect with you, Josh, because like she was saying, and I don't mean to call you she, I just can't remember your name.
Yeah.
Um, is I'm
Lisa.
an introvert extrovert, so I am like have social anxiety and very shy. But when you meet me in public, you probably think I'm the most social person ever. Uh, and all the exercises I had to go through to be able to be on camera, and then once I got the hang of it, I was like, I can freaking do this. But there are many days that I'm like, I don't want to go out there and I have to put on my face. And so I call it, I'm like, all right, I got to put on my face. I do this little shaky dance. I wiggle my fingers and it's completely ridiculous. My kids make fun of me. But it's like, I have to prepare myself to like go out my front door and become that Ashley that everyone sees on the scene.
No, yeah, definitely. I'll go ahead and drop my Instagram and email in the chat, and then
I
you
don't know
connect
how to
with me. I
use
really
this thing,
appreciate that.
this program.
Just
Well,
think
it's
about
on
it like
YouTube
FaceTime.
Live. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, right now the camera's just pointing at the ceiling, so you might kind of get your face in frame.
I can't tell if you guys can hear me or see me.
There you go.
I can't see any of you guys.
Yeah, same here. I just see
Yeah,
myself.
so right now you're just in the stream program, so it's just interview mode. If you pull up the stream in like a separate browser, you'd see the full stream. But right now you're just kind of interviewing each other.
And I'll tout Ashley for a minute too. So this is a great story of going out there and reinventing yourself. So Ashley wrote the foreword for my book in 2017, How to Be Irresistible, and the dynamics are people relate to stories. And one of the big takeaways, if you want to be good at interacting with people, there's really four segments to really being good, right? So whenever you talk to someone, you want to start with the heart, right? Start with something that people relate to. Maybe it's a story of family. Maybe it's a story of heartache. Maybe it's a story of failure. And then you want to morph into a story that resonates with success, right? A story that people can gravitate towards, right? And then you want to interject the third thing, which is fact. They like numbers, they like facts, they like things that can help them, right? Things they can point to be like, this is legitimate. And then the last thing is you end with heart. And if you start doing that, Josh, Lisa, Ashley does it well. She did a great job, our forward for the book. People really gravitate to your story and they want to be in your orbit, right? They want to hold you accountable. They want to make sure that you're doing well in your life. And if you read Ashley's forward, which I highly recommend that you do, it talks about her life and the heartaches and the health issues and the relationship issues and the triumph of going past that and relearning. But that's one of the things I really appreciate about having you in my life, Ashley, is the dynamic of holding each other accountable and for all of us to lift up and go together, if that makes sense. So kudos to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Michael.
Yeah. And Josh and Lisa and everyone listening in, that's why we're all here. I mean, it's to resonate your stories, share your stories, help people, because you guys have talents that we don't know about. And unless you really get out there on the stage and share them and help people with them, they're not going to use, right? They're not getting out there and touching the lives of others for the better. So that's what I'd really recommend. And Brian had a really good quote today on Clubhouse, man. I don't know if you remember it, but the gold you seek is usually in the cave you fail to enter. You guys remember that quote?
Ooh, I don't.
Think about that, right? Yeah, the gold you seek is usually in the cave that you fail to enter, right? What's the only bigger motivator than opportunity? It's the fear of failure. So the reason people don't implement change, the reason people don't go to the next level is because they're afraid of failing along the way. And so if you take failure out of the equation and you're like, hey, I'm going to fail all the way through this, but failure is just a pit stop on my road to success, you're going to get what you want, whatever that is. But it goes back to that habitual daily routine of doing things every single day and just making them part of your routine, 5, 10, 15 minutes. And if I could take away anything from today, it's you want to get to the next step of 2022 in your resolutions, you have to make sure you're making daily deposits in those three sectors. Health, because without health, money and people don't matter, right? We all can attest to that, especially you, Lisa, at 61. Health is number one priority, right? Number two is money. If you don't have money, you don't have resources. How are you going to live your life? How are you going to help a lot of people? And last but not least, the socialization aspect is important, right? Grant Cardone's famous quote is, if they don't know you, they're not going to flow you. So how do you get people to know
Ooh.
you? You make it a point to reach out and talk to as many people as possible consistently and make sure that you have authentic relationships like a plant, right? That you're watering every single day. So when they see you on the street, when they see you on social media, when you see them, you know, you're complimenting, you're building them up, you're writing a comment on their DMs, you're posting a like to those things. Those are deposits. You know, and so many people, I mean, how many of us are guilty of this? I know I am. When you see a post of someone and you're kind of like, I don't really like that person. I'm not going to leave a little heart or I'm not going to leave a comment, right? How many are guilty of that?
Yeah.
Right? But what you're doing is you're failing to make a deposit in that relationship. And so what that person gravitates towards is they're like, well, Josh never comments on my stuff or likes my stuff. Screw that guy. I don't like him, right? But if you take the time to, you know, hit the like button and comment and say, hey, great job, you know, good stuff, whatever it is, right? You know, well done. Hope you get better soon. It takes 10 seconds. And what that person sees in you is something they don't see in themselves, right? You're taking a positive action and depositing in that relationship, whether you like that person or not. I mean, I hate to say it, half the people I hate the most are the people I comment the most positive on, because usually hate, which is a bad word, or dislike, is because they have a reflection of yourself that you don't like in you and it resonated in them, right? How many of us are guilty of that?
Oh yeah.
Right? That dynamic of, if you don't like a person, usually it's because you don't like yourself around that person, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
yourself around that person. Therefore, you don't like being in their presence, right? Negative energy, it makes you, you know, perform at a low level, and that's not your true being. And so that's the biggest takeaway is let's build each other up. And before we take off, you know, Josh, Lisa, Ashley, does anyone want to add anything or ask any questions for the group as far as you know, resolutions and things that we can help you on in 2022? Josh, you want to start us off?
Yeah, back on to you mentioned talking to someone every day, someone new or someone in your pipeline. How would
Yep.
you go about finding those people? Because in my opinion, I don't really have anyone, and I hear people, they would say, oh, they go sit at Starbucks and they just go up to a random person. How would you go about doing something like that, finding new people to connect with?
Ooh,
So
can I
there,
answer this?
uh, yeah, go for it, Ashley.
Okay. So, one of my suggestions is on social media, there's different groups. So you can on Facebook, you can find different groups in there of something you like. Like let's say you like, I don't know, fishing. You can go in there and build relationships. I specifically search on Instagram for moms with boys because I have 3 boys. And then I find them and I go through their page. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 3 boys too. And And especially people who are in Arizona where I'm at. So I find the location where I'm at, something we have in common. I scroll and see that, they're kind of my jam or my vibe. And I just reach out to them like, oh, you have beautiful boys, like, and start to create conversations. And it can be awkward a little bit, but we have something in common. We live in the same area. Maybe they, have their kids that are the same age. Find that commonality and reaching out to them that way. That's been actually a huge way that I built my social media the first time. And I need to go back to it. I'm giving advice I'm not even taking myself.
No, that makes sense. I
Very
really appreciate
good.
that.
You Yeah, and Josh, you almost think of yourself as a magnet, right? The greater your polarization, the easier it is going to be to pull people in or to push people away that aren't the right fit. And Ashley hit the nail on the head. To do it in person, which is hard for a lot of people, and this is what I teach a lot of my dating clients, it's real easy. In social events or something like that, if you see someone that you find attractive, guy or girl, not just sexually, but in business, right? They're carrying the room, they're really doing great things. The best thing to do is go up to them, hold your tongue and just say, hey, you guys look like you're having a lot of fun. I'm Josh. Just wanted to introduce myself. What's your name? It's simple as that, right? Because you have the gumption, you have the courage to do that in person. Most people don't, right? And Ashley hit the nail on the head as far as social media. If you want to grow, you're an EXP, right, Josh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you want to grow your downline, here's something that you can do really easily that I started implementing is on LinkedIn specifically, you can add probably, I would say, 10 to 15 real estate agents across the United States via LinkedIn a day. And then what I would do is take that 5 to 10 real estate agents and start DMing them and messaging them, just introducing yourself, just saying, hey, I'm Josh. Really liked your profile, really liked something specific about who they were and what they're trying to accomplish, and just wanted to reach out and say hi. That's all you got to do and see what they say, right? You're going to have a 10 to 15% retention rate, which is pretty high, pretty high. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
start interacting with you. And in that interaction, now you can pivot into putting them in different buckets, right? What's the bucket you want to put them in? Am I going to recruit them? Am I going to befriend them? Am I going to do business with them? Or am I going to refer them to someone else? That's what I always think about any person I ever talk to. Or if you're single, am I going to date them? You know what I mean? Right, Ashley? You
Of
know
course,
that
you had to
game.
throw that in there. Josh, what is your goal with EXP? Are you looking to build a team?
So I'm on a team right now, but really my main goal, because I'm super new to real estate. I joined last year in March, about to hit my first year. But really, this whole thing with just EXP, I want to grow my downline, but also help as many families as I can. Really.
So you have two different entities. You have, which is great because you can reach out to other real estate agents, but you can also reach out to other families that live in your area.
Yeah.
That's important. I mean, every person you talk to, every person you meet, every person that excites you in some way or another has a bucket that can benefit you and them in your life. And until you reach out to them and just say hi, you don't know what impact they're going to have in your life. I mean, Ashley, you and I didn't know each other until we
Mm-mm.
reached out to each other, like what, 8 years ago or whatever?
Oh, yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, you just don't
I'm not that
know
old.
until you Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. And Ashley, and kudos to you because what really struck me, and I think the reason I reached out to you is you had such a robust following. You had a very active client base and friend base with, single moms with boys and people in the business world and the real estate world. And you did exactly what you preach. So kudos and just get back to it because obviously it worked the first time.
Well, that's a big thing. I like what you said and the integrity. So with Josh and the social anxiety, I keep thinking about that and thinking about like an event, being at an event and just walking up to a group and be like, you guys are having a lot of fun. That can be really freaking scary. And I hate doing it
It
sometimes
can until you
too.
do it 500 times.
Right. It can, but I always like to find something like if you like their shoes, or I mean, I guess it's kind of weird for a guy, but not really. Guys compliment each other these days. But finding that commonality and really being impeccable with what you're saying and having that integrity is super important. Um, I found in the very beginning when I first got into real estate, I wore this like I said mask before, but it was different mask. It was like I was pretending to be something I wasn't because I didn't know who I was or where I wanted to play a role. And I would say things and do things that weren't my personality. And that kind of bit me in the ass a little bit. So from that point forward, I decided that if I was just going to be me and be very vulnerable. So if you do like a guy's shoes, be like, yo, bro, nice shoes, or however you guys talk in Texas. But just being very authentic. I guess that's what I was trying to say in long winded. Being very authentic and true to yourself, because the people you want to surround yourself with and work with, they need to know who you really are. They don't want to see that guy with a mask on.
You know, Ashley, that is probably one of the most beautiful points in the world. Because the other thing, too, Josh, is think about it. What if somebody's there and they're phony and they're being phony and they're not being themselves and they feel horrible and their dog ate their homework or whatever, right? And they're having a horrible day. Just you walking up to them and saying something like, "That is the coolest jacket. Where did you find that?" might make them feel like $1,000,000, like it can just make their day. Because even just a smile to somebody when you're walking through the door at the grocery store as they're leaving, looking at somebody, making eye contact and smiling, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, Ashley, Michael, and Josh, whomever, but I think that those types of things, when it happens to us too, it just makes you feel good. Like, oh my gosh, what a nice person to be so cordial and to be so polite and to be almost old fashioned. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
just being a socially acceptable person. Like, that's a poor choice of words, but you know what I'm saying. I think that to boost somebody up is a huge thing because it also will make you feel good. Conversely, as we were talking about before, when you put people down, and even in your own mind, like, oh, what a boob doing this, that, and the other thing. Ugh. You know, that makes you feel icky because you're saying something icky about another human being, and it serves you no purpose either. Actually, probably is a horrible thing to do to yourself. So I think even just the smile, starting out with that, Josh, might be a good starting point.
Here's a quote too. I'll share with you guys that really changed my life. Hate only corrodes the container that holds it. So that's when
Ooh.
you really think about where you're just like, whoa, that's so true. Because why dislike someone? There's no value to it. There's really nothing that's going to go positive. It's just going to destroy you from the inside out, right? So it's almost that sharing of positivity, which you said so well, Lisa, is that dynamic. My last New Year's resolution is this simple: smile and say hello to everyone I meet in the morning. And that
Yep.
really helped change because when you smile and you say hello, they usually smile and say hello back. And even if they don't, you still feel good about yourself, right?
My boys hate it. Every time we go anywhere, they're like, Mom, everyone knows your name. Like the grocery store, the people at the grocery store, they know my kids' names, they know my name, they follow us on social media, and they hate it because the older boys are teenagers. But it's because even though I do have that anxiety talking to people, I always ask people their names. It's the number one thing. Like when I go to a restaurant, when I'm anywhere I go, I'm always like, what is your name? What is your name? And then I use their name over and over again. Because I have a memory of a freaking, I don't know who has a really bad memory, a goldfish.
Me.
Um,
100%.
but, and they're always like, why do you always ask people their name? Well, people like to hear their names. So when I go somewhere, I'm like, oh, hi. I'm like, what's your name? Like, oh, Michael. It's awesome to meet you. And then continue to use their name. And then you build that rapport. So every time I go to the grocery store, we're constantly saying hello, constantly saying hello. And then they're like, oh, that's my friend Ashley. She's got 3 boys. She always shops here on Wednesdays, which is weird. I always do grocery shop on Wednesdays. It's my thing. So they expect me every Wednesday. And it's just creating that rapport with strangers. I mean, these people are strangers to me, but they feel like they know me.
Because you're using simple, ingratiating tips to make themselves feel better about
Yep,
themselves by using their name,
exactly.
being kind and smiling. It's a great thing, and it ripples into every aspect of your life. And
Yeah.
you know the 3 R's I think are important too as you guys do your resolutions: real, raw, and relevant. Everything you do in life, as Ashley pointed out, has to be real, raw, and relevant. If it's something that you're almost questioning, like, God, I look kind of, not great in this photo, or this was a failure, people really gravitate towards that stuff because we all fail, right? We all have shortcomings. We all have things that are untimely or aren't giving us what we want. But I think people really attach to your persona and your story and to what you're trying to achieve in this life when you're genuinely trying to help them and just say, hey, I'm not perfect either, but let's learn from one another. You
Well,
grow
people
leaps and
like you when
bounds,
you're most
especially in this
vulnerable.
resolution. 100%. Yeah, real, raw, and relevant. Those are the keys. And you got to create these daily habits. And let's make a pact here, on this, if you guys are all for it. But on your daily stories or on your daily resolutions, let's hold each other accountable if we can. And I'd love for you guys to do the same for me if you're up for it.
I'm ready.
Yeah, definitely.
Lisa, Josh, who else we
Yeah,
have? Brian.
yeah, for sure.
Who's on
Yep,
here?
awesome.
Lisa, Josh.
And we got to get Matt. We got to get Matt. Matt Black Productions. We got to make sure his money game and his health game and his social game is on point this year too. He's not out of it yet.
Well, I know if anyone can make it happen, we're with the motivation, it's you, Michael.
Yeah,
That's
Matt,
right.
we
Yep.
haven't heard much from you, my friend.
Teamwork makes the dream work. But I think we're at the top of the hour, right, Matt?
We are. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ashley, as the producer of the stream, I'm working back
gotcha.
behind the scenes. Also, I feel I maybe picked up some COVID over New Year's Eve, so that's why I'm not on camera right now.
Oh no, I have.
Omicron.
When Michael
Don't
had
worry
sent the
about it.
message,
You'll
and I
be
was
okay.
like,
I
crap,
promise.
how long do I have to put on makeup? I've been
Well,
at home with COVID for 2 weeks.
I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate taking the time. And let's do our 2 to 3 resolutions. Let's do these stories. Let's tag each other if we can, if you're up for it. I'll tag you if you guys tag me. And let's make 2022 an unbelievable year of success, wealth, health, and happiness. How about that?
Yep, I'm in. I love it.
Definitely.
Awesome. All right, guys, have a wonderful day, and let me know if I can help you in any way. We'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone. See ya.